You guys know what time it is. We're finally halfway through the series, episode number 15. And today, we're doing a squad builder with the best players in Cleveland Cavaliers history. Sorta. Some honorable mentions to get out of the way. Andrew Bogut actually has the shortest Cavs career. He played 58 seconds for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm not paying 100,000 MT for an amethyst card at this point in the year, though, and I didn't get the diamond from the drop, so here we are. We have Walt Frazier and Ben Wallace, who just, they met the game requirement, but they played over 2 seasons. We have Scott Brooks, Darren Williams, who's so bad on the Cavs that I wish he was in 2K just for that. Mike Miller, Sauce Castillo, aka Nick Stauskas, Bassie Telfair, Kobe Carl, who's George Carl's son, first overall pick Anthony Bennett, and Shannon Brown, the owner of one of the most ridiculous blocks and one of the best missed dunks ever.
Very beginning, fell asleep there. Brown gives it up and down up there.
Other guys that are just not included: Jim Jackson on too many teams. Del Curry didn't get the card. Jarrett Jack not in the game. Jay Crowder, eh. This is a very guard-heavy team, so we kind of had to mix and match, and you'll see. Starting point guard, we have 3-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA Kevin Johnson. Really good player for a long time in his career, is the mayor of Sacramento. Has some other stuff in his past that we don't need to get into. For his career in Phoenix, played 12 years, averaged 19 points and 10 assists a game. Played in the finals with Charles Barkley against the Bulls, and had a couple of the best little man dunks of all time. Not a great three-point shooter, but also in an era where guys didn't really shoot threes. But the fact that he was like a 50% career field goal shooter and an 84% free throw shooter means that if he had lived in an era and played in an era where threes were more prevalent, he would have been not like a 50-40-90, but up there. Part of the longest farewell tour in history. Started out in Cleveland with LeBron, ended up back in Miami, retiring where he belonged. Played 46 games for the Cavs in 2018, put up 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists a game. 13-time All-Star. Everyone knows who Dwayne Wade is. Starting small forward, we went over Sean Marion a lot in the Sorta Raptors game, which reminds me, I should change the name of my team finally. We did it. All right. Starting power forward, we have Luol Deng, obviously most famous for his time in Chicago. Was actually traded from Chicago to Cleveland in 2014. Played in Cleveland, averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds a game. Luol Deng was just a really good player for a really long time. Played way too many minutes and probably had realistically maybe 2 or 3 years taken off his career by how much he had to play on the Bulls. Underrated, honestly. 2-time All-Star, 1-time All-Defensive. Starting center, we have Hall of Famer Diesel. We got Shaq. Cleveland was the second to last team he ever played on, followed, of course, by the Boston Celtics. He played 1 season, played 53 games, 23 minutes a game, averaged 12 points and 7 rebounds. I mean, he's still Shaq, so he's just this giant body. Definitely drained of his powers at this point. Our backup point guard, we have arguably my favorite point guard of all time. 2011 Derrick Rose was something insane and special, and if you weren't watching basketball at the time, you just don't get how good he was. Played 16 games for the Cavs in the 2018 season, put up 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists a game. It kind of looked like his career was done, really having a resurgence when he went to Minnesota. He's only 31 years old. On the Pistons is finally kind of looking like, not Derrick Rose, but looking like some version of him that it's really good to see him getting back to. 9 years after an MVP, it's really good to see him playing effective, strong basketball again. Our backup shooting guard, we have 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-ABA, James Silas. Played his whole career for the Spurs, but then finished out with 1 year in Cleveland where he played 67 games, averaged 11 points, 3 assists, retired at 32 years old, just had too many back injuries and couldn't keep it going, so hasn't played since 1982, but it's good to see him get a card in the game. One thing I really like about doing the SortaSeries is it gives me the ability to research players that I otherwise wouldn't really know either much or anything about. The other fun fact you can learn is that there's multiple Eddie Johnsons who played in the NBA who were also all-stars at some point in their career, or noteworthy in some other capacity. So this Eddie Johnson is actually the wrong Eddie Johnson. This Eddie Johnson on the screen right now never played for the Cavs. But another guy named Eddie Johnson did, and we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna roll with it, because it's September 1st, and we need an Eddie Johnson on the team. The other Eddie Johnson was arguably better, actually made 2 all-star teams, 2 all-defensive teams, but we're putting in an Eddie Johnson. So here we are. Backup power forward, we have one of my favorite players to use in the game. We have 5-time all-star, 1-time champ, Larry Keenan. Basically, the guy was just built like Scottie Pippen. He was like 6'8", 6'9", super wiry, super explosive, really good rebounder, and amazing defender. Another guy who, like I said, retired super young. I mean, he was a 5-time All-Star, and he played his last game when he was 30 years old. That last game was on the Cleveland Cavaliers in 1983. He played for the Bulls, the Warriors, and the Cavs that season. The Cavs put up 7 points, 4 rebounds per game. Another one of those guys, just like really good and blew out early. Our backup center, this is what we're doing. We have channel favorite, Sean Livingston. He's been the starting center on a lot of the teams that I've made, whether it's lineups decided by the chat, or squad builders, or even the SortaSeries teams. I love Sean Livingston, you love Sean Livingston, so 11th man, we have one of my favorite players of all time. We have someone I refer to as Baby Zeke all the time, aka the King of the Fourth, Isaiah Thomas. Mr. Brinks truck himself. It really sucks to see what's happened with his career since he was in Boston. The hip injury, being traded around, not being able to make a rotation. The game that he dedicated to his sister is one of the most like touching moments as a basketball fan I can remember watching. And with that said, there was still no way in hell I was evolving this card to a Galaxy Opal. At the time, he did not have range extender, and he's 5'9". 12th man, we have the only Seth in NBA history. Brother of Stephen Curry, son of Del Curry, brother-in-law of Austin Rivers and Damian Lee. Doc Rivers is his father-in-law, making this whole Mavericks-Clippers thing a little more interesting. I don't know if anyone knew that. In Seth's rookie year, 2014, he played 9 minutes for the Cavs. You might think, oh, he played 9 minutes for the Cavs. That's pretty low. Seth actually played for 2 other teams for less than 9 minutes. So he'll be making an appearance again on the Sorta squads. But Seth Curry, one of the guys that it's like, if he shoots a 3, you're kind of surprised if he misses. And just as an honorary placement on the team, we have the overall king himself, Kobe Simmons. Played 1 game for the Cavs, played 2 minutes in that game. He's here to represent all the overall cheesers. Alright, so this is the Sorta Cavaliers, and let's get into a game. Kevin Johnson. It's September 1st, this shouldn't matter so much to you. That's 2 missed dunks. I'd be a little pissed if I was this guy. But I'd also realize it's September 1st and not care. Alright, Luol Deng. Big Diesel. Alright, we can get Sean Livingston in now. Because as is tradition, we must score with every player on the Sorta squad. There we go. Alright, we can get Dwayne Wade on the board. Get our subs in. Sean Livingston already making an impact. Kobe Simmons getting in. And this guy's out. Alright. You know? You can only do so much. Alright, so I think 2 rage quits is going to be enough. We're just going to call it there. This is a surprisingly good team. Kevin Johnson is not very good in game. And Sean Livingston is the best player in the game. Just putting that out there. Aside from Spud Webb and maybe Robert Parrish is the best center. You know what? We tried. We got error coded out of 1, rage quit out of another one. Gonna call it. That is the Sorta Cavs. This has been episode number 15. We're halfway there. Episode 16 is going to be coming out as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.